fun. I really like to do it. Going to do a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast, a heavy metal podcast where life is fun. We always enjoy it so much. I'm coming to do the podcast. I'm coming to do the podcast. I'm coming, oh God, I'm coming to do the podcast. It starts right now. Well, I thought that was very creative. I thought that was very creative. Of course, that was a take on that old wacky old tune that they're coming to take me away, haha, to the funny farm, where life is a treat and such a joy. And welcome one and all back to another star-studded episode of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. If you don't mind me saying that, I wish you well. I hope you're all good out there. I hope you're taking care of business. It's time to breathe deep. Let it out. For the next hour or so, this is your safe zone. This is the safest place in the world right now for you, okay? We just enjoy some of the heavy metal news of the week, okay? If you're new here, welcome one and all. This is kind of, I don't know officially how podcasts work or go. You know, I know the ones that I listen to, and they got intros, but this might be a little bit different because we just kind of wing things. We don't really prepare things other than the stories that I do here. Hard rock, heavy metal news, every single week, baby. Someone gave me a 5-star review because there is now 12 reviews on Spotify. So thank you, whoever that mystery person was. I appreciate it. We've got all sorts of news, but first up, man, there he is in all his splendor, Mr. Blackie Lawless, and he's sitting down. And he's at the fresh new Sweden Fest. He loves playing those Sweden festivals. And he went through his back surgeries, and, he was, oh, you won't believe at the strength I have now. But he's sitting on that chair, and so thank goodness Blackie Lawless is going to explain why he performed seated at Sweden Rock Festival. I'm going to have a little sip of a little orange one this time. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you wouldn't believe how fast I get home and rip this and pop this sucker on. I mean, right off the bus, up the road, get in the house, and boom, sit down, set it up, and go. Just so I can percolate, just take it easy. Out there in that heat, it's heating up. It's getting hot. And speaking of hot, it must be hot out there at the Sweden Rock Festival where one Blackie Lawless was seated in a new interview. You know what, guys? I just realized something. I got my silly glasses on. Yes. I got my goofy sillies on, but I gotta have my good ones for reading. If people don't know the backstory to that, I guess it's the perfect time to tell you. The reason why I don't use real glasses in my videos is I have all them goddamn lights set up, and you see the videos, they go in and out. I change 5 different colors in the things. And when I put my glasses on, it's just reflection after reflection coming in here. So there's so many levels to that. I suck at lighting. I suck at, everything. But for the podcast, where we relax now, and we're now relaxing. Starting right now, we're relaxing. I need my readers. In a new interview with Canada's The Metal Voice, Wasp frontman Blackie Lawless was asked for an update on his health. 10 months after he underwent a successful surgery to treat 2 herniated discs and a broken vertebra. Lawless said, as transcribed by Blubber, well, when people say, how's your health, Blackie? That makes it sound to me like someone had an illness or something like that. And maybe it's my sport background, my rich sport background that I have. Because for me, injuries are different. What I've been dealing with is injuries, but it's coming along. Oh, he continues, what I had was, well, it was pretty serious. And when it first started last year, They told me that if we didn't stop, we were on tour in Europe, and I had a chiropractor come in to one of the shows to do an adjustment. I bet you Kiss has one at every show. Fixing Paul's back and whatnot, stretching him out. To do an adjustment on me. The chiropractor came in and he did an adjustment on me. And we were in Madrid, beautiful place if you've never been. But the night before, we had been in Barcelona, another beautiful place if you haven't been. I did what I thought was the best show on the whole tour at that point, and I was doing well. This guy comes in. He doesn't speak any English. And this kid is strong as a gorilla. I mean, not a lick of English, strong as a gorilla. And we tried to, through the interpreter, so he's saying strong as a gorilla, it was the chiropractor. This kid got a hold of me, and he tweaked me over and over again. And I felt it immediately when he did it. And, yeah, he literally twisted my upper torso. We find out later he ruptures a disc in my back. See, that's why I'm on the fence with the chiropractors. I'm on the fence with that. And I'm definitely way off the fence and nowhere near the animal chiropractor. You see that? Is that a joke? But I've heard if you go to a chiropractor, you never let him do your neck. You only sign the waiver that says you can do my body, you can't do my neck. Let's see what he says. He really, oh my God, this gorilla has just ruptured a disc in my back. And I had heard of those before, dealing with the nerve pain and things like that. But I'd never experienced it. And until you've experienced nerve pain, you can't imagine what that feels like. I mean, it's constantly on 10 and you can't stop it. So we leave Spain and we go to Berlin. Unfortunately, we had some contacts there, and we were able to get in to see the doctor for the German Olympic team. That's right, I said it, the German. It's not the American Olympic team, but the German. It's good. And so they did a series of tests on me. Did MRIs and I think like that. They came back and said, "You've got uns, Mr. Lawless, you've got extensive damage. If you don't stop this tour, it's gonna get worse." And I'm thinking to myself, well, what are we talking about? How much worse can it get? And so I told them, I says, basically, what I need you to do for me is to get me through this. What can you do for me that can help me get along? So over a series of 5 weeks, we did 8 epidurals. I'm calling shenanigans on that. Because I believe the epidural, when that goes in, 8 epidurals, they have to go into the spinal column, and the legs go numb. Well, fuck you, Shane. Who the fuck do you think you are? You're no doctor. You don't have any degrees. Which, for those that don't know what that is, I just told you, Blackie. Just told you what it was. They inject a needle into your spinal cord. That's right. And basically try to put anti-inflammatory medication in there to get you through it. Also numbs for childbirth. I was going to say something that instantly would get me, people mad at me, but I'm going to say it anyways. I was just going to say, if you're a wimp, you use the epidural if you're a wimp. That would make a lot of people that have births pissed off. But I'm just kidding. I'm not meaning you need the epidural because you can't grunt it out naturally. Because, hey, I've seen it. I've had a child. I cut the cord. I gave him his first little bath. You just hold him like a football. Just hold him gentle. I'm going, holy fuck, what the fuck the fuck is this? What the fuck? Just hold him like a little football and then take this little sponge. And that's what I did. But my God, basically what I need you to do for me is to get me through this. What can you do for me that can help me get along? So over a series of 5 weeks, epidurals, yes, spinal cord. Basically try to put in the fluids in there. But 8 is an extreme amount. I mean, it's a lot. Usually an average person might get 1 or 2 of those. But that's a lot. But what happened is, yes, it was helping me get through it. But now I have one of the discs that no longer functions the way it should. Is that because of the juice? You kept juicing it up? Now the vertebrae are starting to rub on each other as if they were making love. It creates a chain reaction where a second disc gets ruptured and then one of the vertebrae cracks because it's a bone rubbing on a bone. And so, like I said, it literally became a domino effect. And we didn't know any of this until the tour was done. I suffered through the pain all the way. And I get back to California, and we do another battery of tests, and we could see what was going on, and it was not good. That's what the doctor said to me. What, Doc, give it to me straight. I said to him, give it to me straight. He says, it's not good. So, dealing with that, I had to have 2 different surgeries. They go in, they clean out the debris, because when the bone broke, it starts to create fragments and shards. And so they've got to go in there and clean all that out, because all that is now is trying to create complications around spinal cord. It's creating nerve damage and things like that. And then on top of that, it starts to form scar tissue. So it's tedious process, you see. And it's been 10 months and still not quite out of the woods just yet. He's explained this whole damn thing. We just want to know why he didn't do that. Why did he sit down? About the fact that he didn't perform seated at the post-surgery. What does he say? In Slagenberg, Sweden. Blackie Lawless says, well, I'm up walking around. I'm exercising. Yeah, but once the back goes, the gut, there's nothing you can do. You can do this all day and all night. You know, you can do your arms, you can do your legs or whatever, but the gut needs the back. They both need each other. They need to work in concert. Like I've ever done anything about it. Well, I'm walking around, I'm exercising, doing all the physical therapy and everything I was supposed to do. Basically, what I told the people at Sweden Rock was, I'm on probation. And the doctors told me, they said, yeah, you can do this show, but we don't want you running any marathons. We want to make sure that this thing's healed completely and totally, and you don't have any setbacks. Well, so that was the compromise, that we had to make to do it. What? We had to make to do it. But I'm fully expecting that they'll give me the green light any time now. I'll see the doctors again this week, and I'll know more then. When asked, or last month, what does he say? Should we move on to something else? James Hetfield, let's move on to him. Last month, Lawless told Sirius XM's Trump Nation with any junk in the trunk. Anybody out there want to get mellow? I tell you what, if you want to get mellow, you can go fuck right off, or whatever he says. He's got a good intro, that Eddie Trunk. He's got a good intro for his Sirius XM Trunk Nation. He was on Eddie Trunk, asked about his post-surgery recovery. It's been a long road anytime you go through rehab. And we've done it for 35 or 40 years. Every time you have an injury, you've got to go through rehab. And any athlete will tell you that, simply and purely will say that it's a lonely walk. Okay, we're moving on. James Hetfield, pleasantly surprised. Look at that guy. Miss Althea, what is he? Science teacher? I keep forgetting. English teacher. He's that one out there at the bus stop. She's waiting. His car is warm and dry. You know, that's that guy. Professor. Mr. Hetfield? Professor Hetfield? I'm just having some trouble with this like paragraph I'm writing. Yeah. Give you a ride home in mine. He likes to ride in those little dune bugs and stuff, dune buggies. Metallica, James Hetfield, he was happily surprised about this band. Now I didn't look. I don't know who the band is, but he was surprised. This band just made him smile, and there he is smiling. I'm going to say it's Sleep Token. But he's got that silly smile on there, and Sleep Token, they're depressing people, aren't they? If this turns out to be Sleep Token, aren't they going to be bummed? They're going to be like, why is this fucking guy smiling about it? We're sad. We're doomy. We're depressing. Depression. Metallica's James Hetfield names new band that surprised him and made him smile. When he saw them, he just started to smile. Who is it? God, I'm not going to look. I don't want to see anything. During an appearance on the latest episode of the Metallica Report, the podcast offering weekly insider updates on all things Metallica frontman James Hetfield, the Hetman, was asked if there has been... Boy, you get direct access. If you're doing the Metallica Report, you're getting direct access. You're going to run out of questions to ask those guys. Lars, what's your favorite candy bar? When you're just sitting around, sitting at home, just sitting watching TV, just flipping through the channels, not really watching it, what are you chewing on? James Hetfield was asked if there has been any new music that particularly impressed him in recent months. James said, as transcribed, "Oh, yeah. As far as new music goes, let's see. I flip through Sirius XM satellite and I go to the Metallica channel. You bet I pass there a bunch. And I mean, it's just so easy to go on to your playlist and listen to the same stuff over and over, like Merciful Fate, Sweet Bands, like that, back to the old times. And if I'm not listening to the radio of some sort where someone else is in control, I'm not learning new stuff so much. I don't like getting caught in a rabbit hole. If you like this, you might like this. And then sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. That's a computer telling me what I might like. But listening to the radio, I guess the newest thing, oh my God, I just popped in them. I just seen the band. But listening to the radio, I guess the newest thing that I was surprised by and really made me smile was Category 7. And we're doing another one of those videos this coming up. We're doing Exhausted coming up. And we just did that last one. James is down for Category 7. I hope he talks about the name. What do we think of the band name? He smiles when he thinks about Category 7, a band that's kind of collaboration of a few people. I was listening to it. Category 7, a band that's kind of a collaboration of a few people. I was listening to it. I'm going, that voice is awesome. And it sounds very familiar. It was freaking John Bush. You didn't know that? James Hetfield, you're telling false fibs right now. You knew the minute that voice hit, that was John Bush. You wasn't like, oh, this guy sounds familiar. You're like, that's John Bush. I know John Bush. He kicks ass in Armored Saint. It was, John Bush of Armored Saint, our singer that we never got. James laughed. Referencing the fact, here might be a fun nugget, that Metallica approached Bush about joining the band before Hetfield committed to being Metallica's permanent frontman. John Bush is kicking himself in the taters tonight for that one. But you know what? Get in the comments. Tell me if Metallica would have been as big if you would have heard John Bush singing Nothing Else Matters or Landmine, Taking My Sight. Get down there. And so John Bush is in a band with a few other well-known people out there. Phil Demmel from Machine Head, bassist Jack Gibson from Exodus, Okay, that's not a name that I recognize because I know Gary Holt and Gary Hunolt and all, all that the old time people, but a few other people in this band, so James don't remember either. You could say somebody like, now his name's escaping me, that badass drummer in Overkill. Why don't you ever mention them? Huh? Why don't you take Overkill on the road there, James? Huh? In union we stand, brother. But they all wanted to form a new band and start playing. And Brian Slagle, you know that guy of Metal Blade Records, has signed them. So I heard one song on the radio and that's it. And it was great. It was really, really good. And I'm glad that John was kind of gone out on his own and done his own thing. And he was so tired. He was so tired. Tied. Oh, he was so tied to Armored Saint and then Anthrax thing. And yeah. It's exciting. In addition to Bush, Demmel, thank you for this. Thank you for this. This is Blabbermouth at work. In addition to Bush, Demmel, and Gibson, Category 7 features ex-Adrenaline Mob guitarist Mike Orlando and Overkill Shadows Fall drummer Jason Bittner. That's his name. Category 7 will release its self-titled debut album on July 26th via Metal Blade Records. Oh, they're going to say something about the name here. Category 7, named after the numerical Oh, they're getting in the weeds on this. Named after the numerical designation of the most powerful windstorms. We're like fucking 5 windstorms, Mike. Don't you agree, Mr. Orlando? I sure do, Jason. We're like 5 fucking windstorms coming together. That's like a Category 7. Came together for a batch of musicians who strived to play music they loved and weren't hearing it elsewhere. I mean, they're damn good. And wanted to do so with bandmates they enjoyed being with. Orlando and Demmel became friends after taking part in a batch of tributes to the late Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Randy Rhoads. The seeds of Category 7 were then cemented on one night. Oh, God, they're going to get naked. The seeds, see? Right there. Seeds. They're seeds. Their seeds of Category 7 were then cemented one night. Oh, a couple of years later, when Orlando went to hang out at the Clifton, New Jersey metal club Dingbats. I've heard of that place. As Demmel was filling in on lead guitar for Overkill, I mean, the dude's everywhere, which also featured, of course, Jason Bittner. Demmel's everywhere. He's everywhere. Let's get into this really quick. Gene Simmons. You recognize this guy? No, it's not Roy Orbison with a big muffin on his head. No, that's Gene Simmons. That's Jane Simmons. And he wants to tell you, I make a hell of a lot more money with my solo band than that lousy old Kiss. I'll tell you that. Let's see what he's got to say. Gene Simmons says he literally makes more money per concert with his solo band than he did with Kiss. He's going to rattle on about how lavish the stage show is. He's going to talk about all the explosives and pyrotechnics and everything, and he wants to have the best show available to the audience. So he takes a cut and pay because all the money for the concerts must go to the massive, amazing performances. That's what he's going to say. During an appearance on the latest episode of Steve-O's Wild Ride, is he still letting snakes bite his wiener and all that? Steve-O from Jackass. Man, that one Jackass stunt where they shot him in a slingshot inside of a porta potty and it was full. Oh my God. I just said to myself, you know what? You guys are a bunch of goddamn jackasses. I just don't get it. During an appearance on Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, Kiss Man, the Demon. Bassist vocalist Jane Simmons was asked if he now tours and performs with his solo band. He responded, yes. Gene Simmons Band, already headlined. Oh, goodness. We were in South America, Sao Paulo, in April. So we were going to Europe this summer, headline festivals and other stuff, and we were just having a lot of fun. By the way, I design a business model that is just semi-genius. I show up with my guitar pick, that's it. There's no manager, no roadies, no trucks, no equipment. Everything is provided by the promoter, the flights, the hotel, all the amplifiers, the drums. Everything is rented locally. That's the promoter's cost, and whatever six-figure or more amount there is, I pocket. God damn, he is a businessman. And I literally make more money per gig being Gene Simmons and the Gene Simmons Band than I did in Kiss. Not counting the, that's a word, right? Ancillaries and all that. What's that? Nope, not counting. Oh, okay, he's starting to not count things. I make more money with the Gene Simmons Band than I did Kiss, not counting the ancillary, the side stuff and all that. Because you don't have a 60-man crew, 3 double-deckers, private jets. That's on call 7 days a week, honey cakes. And 20 to 24 tractor trailers. In addition to Simmons, the Gene Simmons Band members include guitarist Brent Woods, Wildside, Sebastian Bach, Vince Neil. Oh, I think I know who that freaker. He's pretty good. Zach Throne from Corey Taylor Band. Alongside drummer Brian Tichy, Lynch Mob, The Dead Daisies, White Snake, Billy Idol, Foreigner, Pride and Glory, Slash's Snake Pit. That guy's been around the block. The Gene Simmons Band played its second concert of 2024 on April 26th at the Summer Breeze Makes Me Feel Fine Festival at Memorial Day America Latina in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Memorial Day America Latina. Okay, I'll go for that. That's fine. That's not, the America Insurance Company. The set list included a number of Kiss classics alongside, he's not going to do any Paul numbers, right? Has he ever done Paul Stanley numbers? I'd be interested in looking at that if he's ever did. Still love you. Wasn't that on Creatures of the Night? I Still Love You? Gene Simmons ain't fucking doing that. The set list included a number of Kiss classics alongside covers of Motorhead, Ace of Spades, and Led Zeppelin's Communication Breakdown. 3 days earlier, the Gene Simmons Band performed at the grand opening of the Rock and Brews restaurant at the Iani Dining and Entertainment Destination in Ridgefield, Washington. It marked the Kiss bassist vocalist's first live appearance since the legendary rock act concluded its end-of-the-road farewell tour at New York's Madison Square Garden. Marty Friedman, very quick, guys. We've got Max Cavalera. We still got stuff to do here. We're going to whip through this. Marty Friedman says he's got a lot of explosives coming out in his book. Things that he's never said before in his own mind or even from his mouth, and things that he couldn't say. Marty Friedman says his upcoming autobiography will include things that he has never said and couldn't say in the media. In a new interview with George Dione of Kanak.com, former Megadeth guitarist Marty Friedman spoke about his upcoming autobiography, Dreaming Japanese. I think I'm dreaming Japanese. I think I'm dreaming Japanese. Did you guys know I was going to do that? Be honest. Which will arrive on December 3rd via Permuted Press. Asked if he's putting it all out there with the book, Are you going to put it all out there, Marty? We don't want one of those, rags that don't give us any good stories in them. Your boring ass life before you became a rocker. Are you going to put it all out there? The book, The 61-Year-Old Musician Who Lived in Japan Since 2003. He says, oh yeah, the entire criteria of the book was things that I've never said in the media, things that I couldn't say in the media, private things, dirty, nasty private things. No, I added that. And all the interpersonal relationships and all of the bands that I've been in and all of the projects I've worked on. And it's almost like a spy-like double agent look into the Japanese music business and the Japanese entertainment industry, because I came in completely as a foreigner. But I'm working within that industry as someone who is in Japan, lives in Japan, speaks Japanese. What's the word for it? Ni hao. Miss Althea is going to be very bummed with me that I don't remember how to say hello in Japanese. Works on Japanese projects, so I can kind of report the rest of the world. Now he'll end up dead in his house. Marty Friedman found dead. The only manuscript, the only thing missing from his home in Japan was the manuscript for the book. If he's given all the secrets, right? I come in as a complete foreigner, but he's in the business house. So I can kind of report to the rest of the world. That's the part where they say, I can tell the rest of the world what it's really like from an American perspective, which I think the publisher of the book found quite fascinating. Oh, he found it quite fascinating, all right. Don't you worry about that. And I really drew that to a complete conclusion. But it's basically everything that no one knows about me. So if you're slightly interested, hopefully you will get a lot of very unexpected information out of it. Is he going to read it? That's what I want to know, the autobiography, the auto version of it. Last month on Friedman was asked on That Totally Rocks, That Rocks, the YouTube series hosted by the Ed Man, Eddie Junk in the Trunk, Jim Florentine, and Don Jameson. Why now he is the right time. Why now is the right time for you to release this book? I've always kept my private life completely out of the media, except for when you were reading that love letter to Dave in the back of the cab, and Dave threw the letter out. That was kind of private, but you were going ahead and sharing that. I've always kept my private life completely out of the media, even in the Japan media, where I'm much more visible than in America. I've kept private things to myself and kept everything always about the topic at hand, living in the moment. Whatever that be, whatever the program is about, or whatever I'm releasing, or whatever. So it's never really been terribly personal. But at the same time, every person has a deep personal story behind everything. And I've been working on an autobiography for years. And when it started to take shape and become something real on paper, I started to look for a publisher. Publishers who were interested. And I found an absolutely excellent publisher that got excited about it. And when we started working on it, it just became this monster of a project, way beyond anything I'd imagined it being. And I think a lot of our fans are going to enjoy it, and because it's just got so much deep details about metal life and that I've lived before and when I went over to Japan, and the metal life now. My metal life now is involved. But the real deep private relationship details between myself and all the other band members from oh boy. Someone's going to go, I hope he's going to tell him about that night I cried in his arms. Band members from all of those bands, all the management things and life things, and the people don't see when they just see you on stage, or they hear the records, or they read the interviews. There's serious life stuff that would only be comfortable talking about in complete tell-all autobiographies. And even then, I'm not even sure if I'm comfortable saying it. But I said, if I'm going to do this, The main criteria, I'm telling myself in my own brains, the main criteria is going to be all of this stuff is not stuff from interviews. And all of this stuff is going to be stuff that's very private and very true. Wonderful. Max Cavalera, I like this. He says there might be, he's thinking maybe a classic lineup. I've been listening to that Dead Embryonic Cells record, man. And it always escapes me. I always can't remember it, the title of it. But just delicious guitar riffs and just, but he says classic lineup. He's not opposed to that. He just wants to make sure it's done a proper way, which means the most money possible. Max Cavalera is open to reunion of Sepultura's classic lineup as long as we do it the right way. And I bet Gloria knows how to do it. Gloria Cavalera, she's probably knows. She's got the best ways. In a new interview with Sakis Fragos, that's a great name. Where's that in the goddamn Harry Potter book? I'll watch the movies if it's got Sakis Fragos. You're like, who the fuck is that? Oh, it's a character from this movie. It's like Kaiser Sose. Who is Kaiser Sose? Sakis Fragos, publisher, chief editor of Rock Hard Grease, founding Sepultura guitarist, vocalist Max Cavalera, was asked if he has been approached by the current lineup of the band to take part in what will eventually be Sepultura's final concert at the end of the group's ongoing farewell tour. He responded as transcribed, "I have not been approached. In fact, I think I saw one thing. Andreas Kisser, Sepultura guitarist, you know him, of course said in an interview, like, why are we going to ask them, Max, and from former Sepultura drummer Igor, to take part? They're going to spoil the party." Which is very typical of Andreas to say. I don't know. I think I'm going to let things happen the way they're going to happen. I'm not going to force anything. And if there's comes times where we feel that we should make a reunion, okay, fine. As long as we do it the right way. Just like with these re-recordings of the Sepultura albums that Igor and I, great plug, dude. That's the way you sneak them plugs in. Just like these re-recordings of the Sepultura albums that Igor and I are doing under the Cavalera name. I think we made them the right way. Honest, proper, from the heart. So right now, I'm not thinking about that, a reunion. I know they announced the end of the band. I don't understand this idea. I don't know if they were forced to do it, or if it's a mutual decision, or just stop playing because I don't want to, because you don't want to do it anymore. I don't know. I myself cannot live without music. It can run through my veins. It runs through my veins and my blood. I need to play. It's like the air I breathe. I love what I'm doing right now with Igor, with Cavalera, and we're going to continue. Sepultura fell apart in 1996. This will refresh your brains. With the exit of Max after the rest of the Brazilian four-piece split with vocalist, guitarist, wife, Gloria as their manager. Max's brother, drummer Igor Cavalera, stuck around with the group for another 10 years before leaving Sepultura and returning and re-teaming with Max in Cavalera Conspiracies. Max previously discussed the possibility of a classic Sepultura lineup reunion in February 2023 interview with Thomas S. Orwatt Jr., another wonderful name, of Rock Interview Series. Now, that's not a good name for what it is, but it'll get you in the Google search. Rock Interview Series. Wonder if there's a Rock Interview Series with Bullet Boys. I was going to say Kiss, but I always say Kiss. Thomas J.S. or Watt Jr. of Rock Interview, he said, I'm very, very busy right now with all the projects. Because I got so many. Soulfly be my main one. Do not get that out of your head. If you don't think that Soulfly is number one, that is my main band. But also, go ahead and die. And that's good. I like that stuff. With my son, Igor. And Killer Be Killed. And that's also good. What the songs I've heard from it and we've done. We've done both those bands on this channel. And I'm already playing a lot of the old stuff with my brother. That, to me, right there, it fills the void anyway. Okay. Real quick. I think Wolf Van Hagar. Man, you don't want to make that mess up. You do not want to make the mess up of Wolf Van Hagar. And then you know what you're implying? If I was to say Wolfgang Van Hagar, I would be implying that his beautiful mother that I had a crush on in the 80s made love to Sammy Hagar instead of... Stop it. I didn't even know of this record, Van Halen's record, A Different Kind of Truth. I didn't know this was even a thing, but I'm seeing old Davy Lee Roth right there. Was this an album that they did together with him? Because that's Wolfie. He's not as shaggy on top as he usually is. He's about the same size. And he's looking at Dave like, Jesus Christ, when's this going to be done with? But I see Dave Lee Roth there. So it says, A Different Kind of Truth album returns to streaming platforms, which makes me instantly want to go and listen to that tomorrow at work. Sip. Guys, would you believe it if I told you that all the talking that I do on this podcast, I don't stop here. I mean, I talk all day. So I literally start to feel it by about 6 o'clock. How much I fucking just rattle on at work and everywhere. You start to feel it right there in your throat. Where the muscles are kind of like, all right, it's time to shut up now. Which is why, good news, we're going to quickly get through this just really quickly. And then we've got the best part of the podcast, your comments. That's right. I just popped another freshie there. Orange flavored. Van Halen's final studio album, A Different Kind of Truth. So was this before or after? Get in the comments. Was this... now I'm starting to feel like this album came out when they made that embarrassing... pardon me, that embarrassing thing at MTV Awards or whatever. I don't want to read all this. I want you to put in the comments. Van Halen final studio album, A Different Kind of Truth, has returned to streaming platforms. The 2012 LP was removed from streaming services, including Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music, in October 2022 without an explanation. Last October, Van Halen bassist Wolfgang Van Halen told SiriusXM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Junk in the Trunk that Van Halen's 2012 LP, the band's only studio record Wolfgang played on, was no longer on streaming platforms because of, quote, some people's involvement, unquote, who, quote, do not like that record, unquote. The contract ran out on putting it up on streaming services, Wolfgang said, so we've been working on getting it back. But there are some people involved who do not like that record and are not making it easy to get it back up. Is he talking to Davey? Davey don't like it? Asked if these people who are making things difficult were involved in the record, Wolfgang confirmed, yeah. When host Eddie Trunk prompted, might that person commonly be known by the 3 initials? Apparently referring to singer David Lee Roth, Wolfgang replied, Probably. I mean, yeah, you could put it together. I hate to say it because people will think I'm making stuff up, but it's like, man, I'd love to have the record back up there, but Roth doesn't like it and he's not working with us to get it back up there. Wolf explained. Oh, he's going to give a giggle here down here. So I hope people who like it have a physical version of it. You had a little laugh there because that's the only way you're going to get it. Well, good news. A week after blasting Wolfgang for allegedly throwing out some of Ross' invited guests, see those dames that had their paychecks, remember? Wolfgang kicked out these David Lee Roth, these sexy ladies that were with David Lee Roth, and he says, "You kicked out the ladies that have our paychecks for this concert tonight." Ross invited guests at a couple of concerts during Van Halen's final tour. David has shared a new YouTube video called Family Therapy, in which he started off by apologizing for upsetting some people and insisting that he loves his old rock band and misses Van Halen late guitarist Eddie Van Halen, who was Wolfgang's father, when they proceeded to hold a mock therapy session between Wolfgang and a therapist in which Wolfgang complained that he had been unable to get any streams for his LP, preferably referring to A Different Kind of Truth, with the therapist telling the former Van Halen bassist that his album was DOA, Dead on Arrival. I'm reading this shit, but I'm lost. KTC, kicked to the curb and completely FP, face plant. The therapist told Wolfgang. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. We're getting into it. It's time for the, I give that same kind of intro. You're going to hear that again for the jokes of the day, but it's time to get into your comments. This is the best part, and I've got something to show you. I wondered what it was like to click on these things, and now I've got your stats. YouTube has done some kind of an update that gives me your stats. So look at that. Bang. And it says, oh, these are where you've commented even and stuff. So we're going to be able to see. We'll just see what happens here, won't we? That means you got to come and visit and comment and get those hearts and likes. You can collect them up like Pokemon or something. And in the first slot, usually it's Mike Buchanan right off the bat. And that's why maybe I was going, hey, but it's not. It's the Rev. He's new. He's commenting on some stuff. 9 comments, 2 hearts received. Well done. Rev Seared. Oh my, so much in this episode. Baz needs to stop watching the old high school football tapes. Oh my Lord. Speaking of that, did you see the thing with the, I haven't seen any kind of to-do about any of this, but I swear he put up a picture of Sebastian Bach with a ball gag in his mouth, and I'm like, what? I almost left my body. I was like, what is going on with the world? But I haven't seen hide nor hair about nothing about it. And, Sebastian can't keep his mouth quiet for nothing. And now this guy's, that Ronnie Radke put a picture up of him. Okay, Rev, what you got? Also, nice to hear Strong Bad makes a cameo in the episode. I don't know what that is, Strong Bad. But there you go, there's your heart. Now we come to it. We got Mike Buchanan coming in. Well, let's take a look at what he's got over here. My God. Joined 17 years ago. YouTube. Man, you've been around on YouTube for a long time. 100 plus comments, 284 hearts received. Wonderful. Tell me if you like that. You guys might be going, I don't like that at all. Let's get into it. Let me begin with an editorial. Last week, I wrote about Stryper and autocorrected wanted to add a certain curse word. I have found that when I write using my Android phone, it sometimes will just make up its own sentences. What I was trying to convey was, I believe Stryper, in order to stand out from all the other bands on Sunset Strip, used the gimmick of religion, but began to believe over time. It's a very great point. Had they just been a secular group, we today would not be talking about Stryper. And that's, I mean, how many bands can you say? You've seen Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years. Look at all of those bands that they were like, oh, we're going to make it. On last week's episode, you asked about Stryper album where they removed all of the yellow and black. That album is called Against the Law. Yes, I think we've done a tune or two from it, which happens to be my all-time favorite record. There was probably you requesting them. They are just angry at the music industry and at the religious community. Just listen to the song Against the Law. Hands down the best Stryper song. I'm going to have to check and see. I feel like we've done a tune or two from that record. But that kind of makes sense that they were still kind of, even they're going, all right, we're going with this gimmick. And so a lot of them glammy, them really glammy bands like Poison and stuff, they're not going to go for the religion thing. But then you've also got the religious people going, yeah, we're not, that's the devil's fucking music. When it goes down on the vinyl, it doesn't matter if you're singing Sweet Baby Jesus, I Love You. It's the devil. It's got distorted guitar in it. So that's a very good point. Mike Buchanan says, on this week's movies that are bad, but we love them anyways, another Roger Corman classic, A Bucket of Blood, 1959. Since Roger's passing, I've really been into watching his movies. And this one, above all others, is just my absolute favorite. A masterpiece of a film that most others could learn from. This film delivers both as a horror film, but also as one that makes a thought-provoking statement about society. What elevates this film to the next level for me is the efficiency in which it does this. While many other films trying to portray similar messages need to be slow and meticulous to get their message across, A Bucket of Blood is able to do it such a short, succinct, and powerful way. A classic in every sense. Top 20, maybe top 10 horror films for me. A must-watch. I mean must-watch for any classic horror fan. Really, I think any horror film fan should watch this film. It is just that good. Now sit in that chair, grab your favorite beverage, eat that popcorn, and press play. Forgot your tagline. That might cost you a heart. Let's see what you do over here. Mike Buchanan on Paul Stanley, anything he can do to make money. Once again, I find myself having to say, why would you go see a video to see a band live? So non-live people with non-live music. I could do just the same thing at home with my puppets. You got puppets? And my CD player. And save $150. And save $150. On Carmine Appice, or a piece. On Carmine, the perception of what is heavy metal has changed over the decades. Back in the 70s, heavy metal was Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, etc. When the 80s came around, you now have bands like those on the Sunset Strip, Wasp, Rat, Motley Crue, and that became heavy metal, and those bands from the 70s became hard rock. Okay. Then the 90s came around, and those bands from the 80s became hard rock, so forth and so on. Speak to fans of the more extreme forms of metal, and they consider all other bands to be just rock music. And while you are talking about the band Cactus, and I can't, that's Carmine's band, Cactus. I can't really say it's the band Cactus, but Carmine, who is one of the founding members of the band, along with Doug Pinnick, Rayleigh, and Teddy Boy Nugent, have released a new song and video, One Way or Another. Not a request, so don't ding me. Okay. Wow, that's a collection of people. Carmine, Ted Nugent, and Doug Pinnick. I'd love to hear the jabber that goes on in that band room, One Way or Another. He's like, Ted Nugent's like, we're going to call the song this. He's like, one way or another, it needs a name for the song. How about One Way or Another? All right. Don't ding you. To me, it sounds like Kerry, he's talking Kerry King, is still a little bitter about Slayer ending. Doubt very, very much if Dave will ever play with Slayer again. For me being a little selfish. What? Play with him again. For me being a little selfish, I would welcome one more Slayer album and would love for that album to be with all of the original members. And as for a tour, maybe they should talk to Paul Stanley for some great ideas. Did I miss something there? Okay. Mike Buchanan on cell phones are one of the greatest and worst inventions ever made. Yes, it makes life easier when having emergencies, getting around, using maps, being able to look up information at a push of a button, but it also ruins society. With people having their heads in their phones, you're not lying, and not paying attention to the world around them. You got to stop. You got to look around. You can't fucking keep your fucking head in the phone all day. People are going to start having sore necks from that. This bus stop that I stand at, wait for my bus on my way home, it comes on a downhill. It kind of swoops down, so it kind of comes past me, the traffic. You can see right in the windshields. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. Every goddamn other car. Someone's looking at their phone while they're driving. He's going to give us some words of wisdom here. I truly believe. Society. With people having their heads in their phones and not paying attention to the world around them. I have a rule in my family. No electronics at the breakfast, lunch, or dinner table. That's good. That's like Max Cavalera. He don't care. He lets them look at the little machines. So we go to the restaurant. Then look at the machines. You don't let them look at the machines. Mike Buchanan does not let the family look at their machines at the breakfast, lunch, or dinner table. I make my family put their devices in a little wooden box. Okay. Like chopsticks? I would, that is just the sweet as a button. If you really have like hand carved, please tell me you're out in the goddamn garage and you carved I carved a phone box. They're called food boxes. And I carved each one for my loving family by hand. And they're all stacked on a little shelf or something. And you put your phones in it. Here, Daddy, put my phone in there. Thank you, Daddy. Wooden box until okay, I'm going to read that line. I make my family put their devices in a little wooden box until the meal is over. If we happen to be out at a restaurant, I collect everyone's phones. Yes, I am a mean dad, but it makes us all talk about what we did that day, or about social issues, or in my case, and to my family's disappointment, bad dad jokes. Hey, I have fun. That's the key to life, my friend. Let me tell you what I'm learning. It's taken 50-something years to get here, but you've got to love yourself. Doesn't mean selfish. Love yourself doesn't mean I get the whole bag of Doritos. You guys don't get any. It means love yourself. Love every flaw. Love everything about yourself. Be able to look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm beaten, I'm torn, I had a bad situation here, I had some problems here, family this, and that, and you wash it all away. Live in the moment and care for yourself. Sometimes we get so busy caring about everybody else's concerns, or you're worried about, oh my God, what's happening? Granddad over there, what's he doing and shit. And if you anytime you get in that, this is what I'm learning. I'm giving you this. When you feel that pressure coming on, I bring myself back into the room. Lamp, laptop, camera, hat, my delicious drink. I take a sip. Garbage can, dirty laundry back there I need to do. I am back in here with you. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And now, oh wait, he's got more. Little wooden box, yes. Dad jokes, but hey, I have fun. From what I have read, Sebastian has given up on the idea of getting back together with Skid Row. Yes, indeed. Tell me if you saw that same stuff. I mean, it looked like he had a video or something, and I was like, I'll never look at it. You guys remember that 2 girls and 1 I never look at that kind of shit. People go, you got it, dude. They try and put it on their phone for me. I never look at that kind of shit. I don't look at things that are disgusting because they stick in your head forever. You know, I can deal with like horror movies or whatever. It's like, oh, that's just fake. But when you see something real, it's like, oh. And now it's time for the Jive Talkin Jokes of the Week, provided lovingly by Mike Buchanan, and here we go. They tried to sell me a glass coffin. I asked if that was a trend. The salesperson replied, remains to be seen. Shane could never visit the cemetery due to the big crowds. He was dying to get in. That's good. Shane had a great sense of humor. He put the fun in dysfunctional and funeral. So these are funeral jokes. At the boss's funeral, a disgruntled employee knelt next to the coffin and whispered, who's thinking outside the box now, Gary? And finally, at Shane's funeral, which you guys get a dump dirt on me, but I hope that I can be that pod thing, where they put your carcass in the pea and plant it in the Everglades, the redwoods, not the Everglades, that's the swamp, the redwoods, and then I grow into a tree, but you can scoop the dirt. At Shane's funeral, I want a closed casket funeral. However, towards the end of the service, I want the organist to play Pop Goes the Weasel over and over and over until everyone in attendance is staring at my coffin with silent, horrified anticipation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I would hold Shane's memorial service if I was to ask to. Well, guess what? You got it. Just like that. You sold me. You sold me on it. And guess what? Bang. I did not, I did not deny you anything, okay? There we got white bread here, bang. All right, we got 100 plus comments, 164 hearts received. Well done, white bread. Satan to Tom Araya. Slayer is done playing shows when I say they're done. Max don't need no cell phone. I think he has a son in every one of his bands. He's easy to get a hold of. Amen. Is that little doggy you got there? Who's that dog? What's that dog's name? In your little emoticon picture there. That's a cute. It looks like on the fish eye lens camera thing. He's got big, probably wet, sloppy cheeks. Charles Bronson? Charles Bronson joined 2 days ago. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you. 30 comments, 3 hearts received. Wow, Mr. Charles Bronson, he put down the gun and he picked up the mouse to give me hearts and love. I listened to the intro while taking a bubble bath and was digging it until I discovered I was sitting on my rubber ducky. My God. MB, remember MB? We couldn't do her last time. Let's find MB. There she is. Oh, so Charles Bronson. I'm thinking he joined my channel. No, he joined YouTube 2 weeks ago or whatever. She's joined 10 years ago. 100 plus comments and 20 hearts received. Well done, MB. Oh my God. I hate Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. That's what she said. You go. And we have Miss Althea coming in, and she did say something, but I think the message was late. It was like 15 weeks ago. But it's not showing the whole damn comment again. Ha, I did read your comment before I wrote out. Oh, my. Miss Althea, it's not giving me the freaking... See, look, there's a read more. Oh, she's going to give up. She's going to give up. Oh. What do I do? Let's look at Miss Althea's stats. 100 plus comments. So it says that basically 499 hearts received. Man, oh man, that is stellar. Well, I apologize for this, Miss Althea. I don't know what else to do. I wish I could click this dang thing. And, I mean, it's just not, it's a little hard. Oh boy. The dumbstruck fool says, and she's talking Paul Stanley and the Kiss avatars. I still don't care. They can look mind-bogglingly realistic as fuck, but if they still represent Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer as the Spaceman and the Catman, then there is no point as far as I am concerned. I would crack up if someone at Pop House Entertainment Group felt the same and they decided to pull a fast one and put the members of ABBA in Kiss. Oh, Miss Althea, I feel so bad. And I just don't know what to do about it. Where else can I go to click anything? All right, there we go. I'm sorry. Maybe we might have to come up with some other option. I don't know. Let's see, rock for you now is rock stars. That's a rocker, isn't that? That's a rock star in that little picture there. Great intro. Okay, let's open this up. See, his opens right up. Great intro song for the ladies. You know them chicks are going to love it. You got the pompous Paul Stanley voice down. Regarding Carmine's opinion on metal, thumbs down. He's an incorporator. I like Rockstar. He's incorporating emoticons. I have my personal theory about it, about how it came to be. From Elvis. Opening notes of 1957 Jailhouse Rock to 1958 single Big Hunk of Love guitar solo. Then the Beatles' Helter Skelter completed it. And let's not... Am I missing something regarding Carmine's opinion on metal? Okay, gotcha. So Elvis's 1957 Jailhouse Rock, 1958 hunk of burning love. You got the hunk of burning love. Then the Beatles' Helter Skelter completed it. And let's not forget Black Sabbath's Iron Man. It is definitely heavy metal. Horns up, horns up, horns up, and all rock music stems from blues. He's got some blues notes and some, lightning bolts and all sorts of things. Angry heavy metal man. Keep rocking, Sean. I will, thank you. Heavy metal horn, heavy metal horn, heavy metal horn. Bang, there's your heart. And, okay, we got cookies. Oh, let's see what. Cookie Bombsta. Oh, that is fun. 3 comments and 1 heart received. Guess what? You're about to get 2 more unless you call me a damn jerk or something. You're working them up, baby. It's a cookie bombasta. That's not supposed to pop up on your phone, or they know you're looking at some sexy lady or something. I guess that's right. They call it Mr. Bombastic. Cookie bombasta. Fact. George Lucas only got involved to teach Paul Stanley's avatar how to lip sync. Oh! Fact 2. Paul Stanley trims his thick and very manly chest pubes from Gene Simmons' horrible wig. I thought you were going to say semen. He was doing something. Oh, my goodness. Boy. Those 2 greedy kids morons are puby, huh? Yeah, they are. Lastly, your Paul Stanley impersonation sounds a lot like Dave Chappelle's Weatherman character. Okay. Big Al. I love your show. You always make me laugh, smile, and laugh. Oh, that's the best. You are the best. He says, Cookie Bombasta says, you are the best. I say, you are the best. Welcome to the number 2 family. There you go. There's a heart for you. Miss Althea. Oh, boy. Jeez. She's been having issues. And I think she was mentioning something about some kind of thing, but my brains are fried. But she hit me up in the Patreon and mentioned something about, and I was way late to it, the message. Get out there, you can do it, baby steps. It's hard to get over, when you get to a certain, anxiety level and depression level or whatever, you just go, man, how can I handle this shit? You always got to go back to you. You got to go back to your headspace at the time. Everything else. Don't you remember my platitude about the dirty dishes? You got a dirty pile back here behind you. Okay, we get it. You've done bad things. You've been a bad person. You've done great things. Whatever. But that's the past. You're in the right now. Let's focus on each and every moment. Look at that sky. Look at the ground. Look at the grass. Look at look at all that. Here we go. I want to get just a tune going. Got to. Glass of coffee or tea and put on my podcast. Don't you know, motherfucker, you can listen for free.